Fanfic Corner, presented by Jennifer. I can't read. Rilla smiled as she walked into the room, looking over to her beloved dragon. She planned to go over and surprise him with a hug, but when she saw his frown, her smile faded. Callum? What's wrong? He turned to her and held out a scroll of paper. Taking it, she quickly read the contents and shrugged. It's just a message from Lex Aurora saying they want to invite you to the Queen's coronation. Nothing to worry about. Rayla, he sighed, I can't read. What? He looked away ashamed. I can't read that letter. I tried, but I can only make out a few words. She blinked, reaching over and gently brushing her hand through his hair. Oh, Cal. It's all right. It's nothing to worry about. Rayla, I'm a prince that can't read. Or write. I mean, just look. He pointed over to the desk where a paper sat on top. It was scrawled with long, dark pencil strokes. I can't even write my name, he growled, picking up the paper and crumpling it into a ball that he then threw against the wall before sitting on a chair and burying his head in his hands. I'm useless. Rayla quickly grabbed his arms and held him close. Callum, calm down. Rayla, look, you were taken when you were 5 years old, and you didn't have to read or write since that day. So, your struggle makes sense. He stared at her, his hands closing into tight fists. What am I going to do? I need to be able to read and write. Well, you could learn. He huffed. I'm 15 years old. Who's going to teach me how to read and write now? The elf frowned slightly, contemplating. I'm sure there's someone. What about your old teacher from when you were younger? The one you used to run away from? Miss Shaky. Was that her name? Well, if she was your teacher when you were younger, she may be able to help you now. Callum just looked down at his feet, frowning. Maybe, but what am I going to do until then? You could have a scribe. Scribe? Someone to read and write for you. Would you be my scribe? She chuckled lightly. Well, I can help with the reading, but have you seen my penmanship? It looks like a bird walking over the paper. Well, I'll ask my mother. She may be able to help, he said, staring off into the distance for a bit. His hands were still closed into fists. Seeing his frustration, the elf reached up and gently stroked his cheek, knowing it always managed to calm him down. Cal, it's going to be okay. I promise. He sighed, closing his eyes and leaning into her hand. A few weeks later, Callum was pacing back and forth behind his desk. And I look forward to welcoming you to dinner at the Stormspire. It would be better if you confirmed the date, his mother said as she wrote the letter for him. Oh, he scratched his head. I look forward to welcoming you for dinner at the Stormspire in a few days when you arrive. Much better, she nodded, writing it down. So, want to sign it? He looked at her with a shy smile. I'm still working on my signature. Will you sign it? All right. The Queen lifted the quill and wrote a cursive mark at the bottom of the letter. One more done. You're getting very good at dictating letters, Catamondius. If only I didn't need my mother to write them for me, he sighed. I've seen your practice, Cad, she smiled, standing up and walking over to him. You're getting better every day. Not fast enough. It's so frustrating. Cad, calm down, his mother sighed, brushing his cheek gently. You're just like your father, so quick to get upset over the littlest things. She stared at him for a bit, but then let go of his face and walked back over to the desk. Well, I will ensure this is sent off, and you go do something else. Mother, I'm fine. Just let me be, she sniffed, reaching up to wipe her eyes. Please, Cad. I don't want to see you right now. Knowing that his similarities to his father often upset her, he sighed with a nod. I'll see you at dinner, Mother. The dragoness kept her back to him, letting him go as she tried to hold back tears and memories. And then Alfie was rewarded as a great hero. Callum read slowly from the book. She and her Pegasus, Cal, Rayla corrected. Sus. Pegasus, the dragon repeated. She and her Pegasus rode off into the distance to become legends. Rayla clapped a few times as he closed the book. Oh, well done, Cal. You made it all the way through. The dragon huffed as he passed the book back to her. I struggled the whole way. But you didn't give up. She crawled over to him in the nest and snuggled into his side. And that's the important part. He sighed, looking at the elf. I guess. Callum, it'll take time to learn, she smiled, kissing his cheek. And for the record, I will happily listen to you read whenever you want. You have quite a relaxing voice. Oh, do I really? I think our kids are going to love bedtime with you. He blushed suddenly. Kids? Plural? Smirking, she settled into his side once more. Eventually,